welcome to SFDC Ops tutorial. In this tutorial, we will try to understand what is conditional rendering in LWC. There might be a scenarios where we have to hide some content of the components from the HTML and show it based on the conditions. So how we can achieve this type of functionality? To do so, what we have to do to render our HTML conditionally, we are going to use one of the directives of LWC, that is if true or if false. What this if true or if false does? This if true or if false directives binds the data to the template and remove or inserts DOM element based on whether the data is a truthy or false value. So without delay, let's try to understand with an simple example. So let's suppose we have a component where we are showing some candidate details, something like this. So I have created a component. Right now it has nothing in it. So let's suppose just I'm using a div tag here. And in this div tag, what I will do, I'm going to show my candidate details. Okay. So let's suppose I'm using some paragraphs text to show my candidate details. Oh, just copy this again. I think it's not copied. Okay. Okay. So the first one is which will mention it as candidate details. Okay. And in the candidate details, the first thing I'm going to show name. Let's suppose name will be Rahul Yadav. Okay. Then in the second, we are going to show his age. Let's suppose the age will be 31. And the next is date of birth. And let's suppose we mention it as 15th of Aug 1991. Okay, now we have one requirement that we are going to show these detail based on the condition. So let's take a conditions also. So in our case, what we will do here, we will create a checkbox, and if the checkbox has the value true, then only we are going to show this div here. Else, if the value is not true, we are not going to show this detail. Okay, so let's create a checkbox. For this, we are going to use lightning input. So lightning, okay, lightning input. And in this input, let's give it some label. So label is show candidate details. Okay, okay, and define its type. So in our case, we are going to use as type equals to checkbox. So this is our checkbox. Now what is our requirement? So if the value is true, we are showing our this div, whatever the div we have mentioned here. And if the value is false, we are not going to show any candidate. So to track the value of your input, let's create a handler first. So in our case, on change, what we will do, we will handle this whatever the changes happen in this input, handle change. Okay, let's go to your JS part, and here is my JS. And in handle change, this is our event, and in event, so if the value is true, how we will track this value? We are going to use event dot target dot checked. What it will do, it will help us to understand or give us the value, does our checkbox is true or false. So in our case, what we want, if event.target.check is true, we want to show our div. So for this, we are going to use conditional rendering. So for this, we are going to use the if true directive. So if the value is true of our property, then we are going to show this detail. So just add if true directive here, and let's create a property for this to understand. So let's suppose we make as show details. Okay, So if the value of show details is true, then we are going to show this content, else we are not going to show our this content in our HTML. So just copy the show details and mark it as by default as false. So show details equals to false. What it means here? It means that if the show details is false, whatever the things that we have mentioned inside this div is not going to show in our HTML page. But when the value is true, then whatever the content inside the div is going to display in our HTML. Okay. So here, if you see here, if the value is true, event.target.check, it will return the value is true or not. So if true, what we will do here, we will make this show detail property as true. So this dot show details equals to true. So what is going here? When the user selects the checkbox, it means it sets the values to true. This dot show details going to true, and when this dot show details going to true, it will display our content dynamically. Okay, so just deploy the component and let's see how it works. So go to your app page, because I make this component visible in only in my app page. So our component name is conditional rendering. Just paste it here, click the save button, go back. So if you see here right now, whatever the thing that we are mentioning in our HTML, that the candidate details, if you see here, these are the things are currently not visible in my HTML page, in my component. As soon as when I click this button, what it will do, it will check the value is true or not. So if the value is true, what it will do, it will make my property as show detail as true. And once the show detail is true, it will show my content in my page. So just click the show details button. If you see, candidate details, name Rahul Yadav, is 31, date of birth, something like this. So this is how conditional rendering works in LWC. I hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe, and please also comment in the comment section whatever the topic you want a particular video on the particular topic. Please let us know. Thank you for joining.